It's a different game, too.
It's a different game, too. I think for me,
LeBron got lanes every night. When we played, there were no lanes. Wasn't nothing but hardwood floor. If you go to the basket, you're going to hit the wood. There's no comparison.
All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone, and welcome to the final part of this very long and very interesting and now confusing podcast with Scottie Pippen, titled "Couldn't Win Without Me." Scottie Pippen breaks silence on Jordan, NBA legacy, and Bulls dynasty. I've had some time to digest, what we just watched yesterday, part 3, and I'm still just dumbfounded at everything that just happened. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend before you watch on, you go watch parts 1 through 3, or you follow the link that I have down below to watch the entire podcast. Your call. That's going to be in the description if you want to watch this podcast in full. But we left off with, Scottie Pippen basically saying that he'd still have 6 rings without Jordan, and Jordan would have less rings without Pippen. That was a big thing after he established that he thinks Michael Jordan is actually the greatest player ever to play, and he dodged questions about the fact that he once called him a couple of years ago, he called himself, saying he wanted to be known as the greatest player ever to play. And at the very end of where we left off, him saying that when they talked in 2020 after the Last Dance dropped, him and Jordan, that was the end. That was the final time that they're gonna talk. It's over. And then he went into the fact that he's never been friends with Jordan, and then he even extended on that by saying Jordan's never been friends with his teammates, and nothing's adding up. Basically, that's where I'm at still to this day. Nothing is adding up here, because we all know Jordan's had a lot of teammates who were his buddies and he'd hang out with, and he had friends across the league as well. And I just don't know when it comes to Scottie, man, because when Scottie started out in the beginning of this podcast, when things were all kosher, he started out seeming like he's a different guy, but as the tough questions started getting introduced, boy, he's back to that Scottie Pippen from 2021 that I was hoping we were past. But anyways, you guys, long intro. I'm just dumbfounded. We got to end this and see where this goes. I don't imagine how it's going to get crazier than this, but basically it seemed like they were about to get into the GOAT debate. At least that's where Scottie was trying to turn the conversation, but we'll see what happens. Like the video, please, if you don't mind. It helps out a ton, and let's do it.
Did you see today? By the way, what a freaking point you just made. Condensing time frames. I don't know if you saw the stat today. Who posted it that said, yes, LeBron may have passed Michael in the most 30-point games. It'll take another 32 years to pass Michael in 40-point games, right?
Yeah, it's not even worth talking about.
The two of them.
When you ask who's better, LeBron or Michael, you can't ask me who's the GOAT between LeBron and Michael. Neither one of them are GOATs. They both won differently. You can't put them at the top of the pinnacle. Magic Johnson, to me, is a bigger GOAT than anybody because of how he led, how he brought a whole team, how when the greatest scorer in the game, Kareem, was not there, and him as a rookie
center
steps in and plays a position that no one even knew he could play. That's transcending what you can do as a player.
I mean, I'll give Scottie, there's a reason why Magic's on my top 5 all time easily, but I feel like he's dodging this again.
Yeah, that's why when you ask the question, how do you define it for GOAT? Your definition is very different. You know,
It is. And for those of you who haven't watched the other parts, Scotty's definition of the GOAT is the best team player. And if that's the case, I might give it to Tim Duncan, according to his definition.
to me, the definition of comparing a LeBron versus a Michael, you know, LeBron had a Wade, LeBron had a Bosh, LeBron had a Kyrie, LeBron had a Anthony Davis, and Michael had you.
It's a different game, too.
It's a different
You
game
know.
too. I think for me when
LeBron got lanes every night. When we played, there were no lanes.
Yep, 100%.
Wasn't nothing but hardwood floor. If you go to the basket, you're going to hit the wood.
Absolutely.
There's no comparison. There's the basketball in the late 80s into the early 90s. Physical, hard nose, no layups. Earn it from the free throw line. Today's game, it's about three-point shooting. It's about driving it to the basket, finishing.
Non-contested.
Did you hear me say earn it at the free throw line? That doesn't even exist in today's game.
Nope. Nowadays, they step out of the path of the offensive player driving through the lane. I mean, if there's even somebody in there, they're so spread out now. It's wide open lanes. I agree. I agree with Scotty when he's just talking about basketball and basketball philosophy a lot, actually. It's the other stuff.
It's just about shooting the ball, shooting the ball.
You said one time when you had a conversation with Michael about when he went to the Rockets, and Barkley was a teammate, and he said something to you. He says, I probably should have listened to Michael a year ago when he said that Charles will never win a championship because he doesn't show any dedication. He's a very selfish guy. He said all this stuff to you, right? That's my reason for wanting to get away from playing with him because he just doesn't show the dedication. You know, those are tough words to be said from Michael to a friend, that is Charles. Looking back now and having the wisdom that you have today, you had a lot of, everybody wanted you. You could have gone anywhere.
Yep.
Anybody and everybody wanted you. What would have been a different situation? What do you look at where you said,
Well, I'm going to be honest that my options weren't that great.
Really?
Because of the way that the CBA
Got it.
was set up.
Got it.
And
Who did you have as options?
well, I had Phoenix, but it was for less money.
Got it.
To be fair, at that point, he had not gotten truly paid yet as a basketball player, so I understand he was trying to secure more money. He would have fit in pretty good here in Phoenix, though.
I think Philadelphia didn't want to go play in a cold climate.
You could have
Who
played
did
with
Philly have at
He
that
could have played with Allen Iverson. That would have been a year 3 Allen Iverson, I believe.
time? Was it AI?
Yeah,
Was it still AI? Or was it?
It was AI.
Yeah, it was AI
Yeah,
because it was tail end. So it would have been AI.
yeah.
They had. Well, he didn't have. He had Dikembe Mutombo, I think. I don't know if he had a left
Yeah,
already.
I showed no interest.
Got it.
but yeah, it could have been Mutombo, AI, and Scottie Pippen. Shoot, they could have got some rings out there.
I definitely wanted to be in a warm climate, and I saw Houston as an opportunity for me really to play with two veteran guys, and that we could, make something happen real quick. And it was the lockout season, but it was definitely a short-lived. In fact, Charles started out working out with me, and he was all dedicated and working out, me and him with Grover. I took Grover down there, and he lasted about a month.
I believe it.
Was it because what? It's just a little too much with Grover. He's
No, it wasn't too much for Grover. It was too much for him.
no. That's what I'm saying. To go with Grover, it's a little too much for Charles.
He wanted to enjoy his nightlife, and our workouts were predicated on getting up in the morning and training before practice.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, and it's when the business pays you a lot of money and you have the ability to go party. Sometimes it's hard to say I want to get up and go get that ring. And, for everybody, by the way, who's your favorite teammate you ever had? And who was your best teammate you ever had?
Wow. Well, can I give them both to Michael? I mean, I can't knock him and say he was a bad teammate. I can't.
I gotta stop right there. Oh man, he did it again. You guys know the famous quote from a couple of years ago. Michael Jordan's a terrible teammate. He's terrible to play with. And now this. Is Scottie Pippen just a pathological liar? I'm so disappointed in this. I'm really disappointed in this whole thing. Damn.
I mean, I can't knock him and say he was a bad teammate. I can't knock him and say he wasn't my favorite. I mean, we had a lot of success. So I would say he probably fit both of those categories.
Do it, man. Do it. Call him on it.
Scotty, you're interesting, buddy. I got to tell you, who's your second favorite?
Damn, that was a perfect opportunity. Just pull up the quote.
I mean, I love playing with Horace Grant. I love playing with Dennis. And I would probably say Horace was probably my favorite at first because we got drafted together. We went to the Bulls together. We won our first 3 championships.
Again, they're doing it, by the way. This was when Horace Grant was at the end of his career. So this does not represent who he was as a player. If they would have pulled up 93, 94, what he did in Orlando, that was probably his peak. Oh, boy.
Together, but he ended up leaving. So the bond with Michael became better, and just on the court, really, not off the court, but
So more dinners with Horace than Michael, that's for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Is that cat story true, by the way?
What's the cat story? I gotta hear this one.
Whose cat got sick or someone's cat
Oh,
died?
no,
Or what
no,
is that
no,
kid? Tell me
that's
this.
not a true story.
Scotty, be
That's
honest here, because this
that's
cat's...
that was like a Horace Grant sort of I'm skipping practice kind of.
By the way, there's probably only going to be 3 people listening to the story with the cat. But what's the cat story?
Well, Horace Grant would always skip practice.
Why would he skip practice?
His cat got sick.
It was a joke, though.
Yeah.
Did he actually have a cat?
No.
So who actually believed it? Was it like is it a joke, or was he seriously? He would say my
like
cat's
a joke, but because NBA players, if you call in and say you're sick, the team can't do nothing but take your word, right?
Yeah.
So Horace would always, not always, but he'll call in occasionally and say he was sick. And so we had this older coach, Coach Johnny Bach. He was our defensive coach. So he always would say, well, his cat got sick. Well,
and it stuck.
yeah.
But in reality, he never got sick to say because of his cat.
No.
Oh, it was a joke that the coach made. Well, listen,
Yeah, no, we
That-
do that in every workplace, so that makes perfect sense.
coach, that one little joke is still here.
It's still
30 years
relevant.
later,
Yes.
40 years later. Got to give him credit. So, final stuff before we wrap up here. In regards to Zion, okay, in regards to some of these guys that are coming in, they're getting paid what they're getting paid. I remember Michael said something about like some of these guys are getting paid without having to earn it. I don't know when this was. He said it could have been 20 years ago or 15 years. He said it a while back. When you look at a Zion, have you ever spoken to him one-on-one and trying to coach him and give him feedback, or no? Have you guys?
No.
So,
Not at all.
okay, so if Zion is listening, I mean, he so many people give him feedback of what to do. This is a guy, if I'm not mistaken, he's got a 43-inch vertical leap. I don't know what the number is. Rob, can you pull up Zion's vertical leap? I've seen 41, I've seen 43, I've seen 46. Okay, so 45 and 46 and a half vertical leap. Okay, I don't know what the number is, but he's got a big vertical leap. The weight, the ripping the shoes in college when he's playing is like, when Paul George jumping in and, you remember this guy's the amount of power that he has. A guy like Zion Williamson, who's right now, I think, only 24 years old, do you foresee him changing and being able to have a long-standing career performing Hall of Fame type of guy, or you don't see that happening?
I don't.
No, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, no way.
I don't know how much longer he's going to be on the court. I mean, I think that the organization has bent over backwards to maintain some professionalism to the fact that this kid is not even on the court. He's not even working to be a professional basketball player. It's almost like when you watch him, you're seeing a kid sitting on a college bench and still hasn't found what's going to be fruitful for him in life, whether it's his diet, putting the right people around you, getting yourself ready, staying healthy. I don't know what to say about his career thus far because all indication shows me that if there's a lockout, if there's any injuries major to him, it's going to take him out.
Yeah.
If
I
there's
see him as like a Ben Simmons kind of guy, where it's lifestyle first, the NBA lifestyle first, and then the basketball part comes second. And I'm not a fan of this. And Zion, man, yeah, I don't know. Can you guys imagine him getting another big contract? Because I really don't. After all this, I wouldn't understand why anybody would.
The lockout, it's going to take him out because what? Lack of discipline, putting on weight, getting to 300 pounds?
Eating. He hasn't shown that he's disciplined enough to take care of himself physically yet.
Yep.
Is he savable?
Oh, he's definitely savable. There's a lot of GMs out there watching and hoping that New Orleans sort of dropped the ball. I mean, there's organizations out there would love to embrace this kid and really get him to where he can be a great NBA player, because I think putting him in a position where he is sort of a veteran. I mean, I look where the kid that went to Duke is the oldest player on their team. Well, he's probably 3 or 4 years older than Zion. So veteran leadership around this kid may help him.
I mean, Charles Barkley credits Moses Malone for saving his career. I just don't. It doesn't seem like Zion would actually care. I think that's a difference. He's already so rich, he doesn't have to care. Barkley was making, breadcrumbs back then in the early 80s. So he had to keep playing in order to make enough money to retire. And the difference also was Charles Barkley wasn't getting injured all the time. Charles Barkley was notoriously overweight, but he wasn't getting hurt all the time, especially early in his career. Zion, obvious weight problems, man, he's getting injured constantly. He's never on the court, so he's not fulfilling his contract. Never seen anybody like him.
To help jumpstart his career in a sense that it's just as important for him off the court to work on himself as it is on the court.
Who do you think would put him in his place where he would have a level of fear and respect for that person?
Either gonna make him or break him.
Somebody like
but
that.
I like Pat Riley
Oh, yeah.
in the Miami Heat organization.
Well, you saw how much heat Pat got this week when Jimmy's saying he wants to leave, and somebody came out. I don't know who came out and criticized Pat, saying you're just too much. You're always pushing people out. Who said that about Pat? Somebody criticized him hardcore, and he said maybe you're right. Maybe it is time.
Yeah,
Who
I
criticized
don't know
him?
who said that about Pat, but I did see where he kind of took the blame and pointed it back at himself and said, maybe I am, but...
Oh, Paul Pierce it was. I saw Paul Pierce saying, if you can pull it up, Rob. Paul Pierce slammed Riley for disrespecting Butler, the 6M All-Star. Once I get whatever I get out of you, you can get the F out of here, Pierce said. That's what Pat Riley's mentality is. Yeah. And then Pat Riley said maybe he's right, but man, I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't know if I agree with that. But the important part was Scotty's answer, and I think that's make or break. I would predict break. It would break Zion. But yeah, go into Miami. You don't have a choice because you have a body fat weigh-in. situation where you don't get to play if you're over a certain body fat. The only person he made an exception for was Shaq. But he ain't going to do that for Zion, I'll tell you that much.
Because I have a hard time with that mentality with Pierre saying something like that. Look, he can say whatever he wants. He scored 26,000 career points. He's a legend and a champion when they won. But
Well, I don't want to say it the way Paul Pierce said it, but it's been known for many years that the Miami Heat does exactly what Paul Pierce said.
let's say he does. Let's say he does. Okay, who else can shape up? So why did LeBron, Dwayne, and Bosh go there? Why did so many people
Well,
want
they left.
No, I get that, but they won championships.
Yeah. Well, when you're young, you can work for Pat Riley. But as you get older, like a Jimmy Butler, his system will break you down.
I can see that.
What about Haslam? What about Alonzo? I see where they're getting at, but there's examples to contradict it.
And by the way, you know what that could tell me as well? Look, Nick Saban wasn't a good NFL coach, but he went and became the greatest college football coach of all time.
Yeah, but I think you have to look at the game differently from a whole perspective.
What do you mean by that?
These players ain't about winning championships no more.
Oh.
They're about running a business.
That's it.
Got it.
Yeah, there it
Okay.
is. Lifestyle first, basketball second.
So Jimmy Butler knows that his body is his business. And if you want to continue to use my service, then
Pay me.
take care of my business.
What a bad way of looking at it for the fan.
It is.
What a
Well,
bad way of looking at it for the fan.
I hate to say that the fans have to see it that way,
Yeah.
but the players got to maximize what they can get in such a small window.
So interesting you're saying that. I mean, I can bring up some stats. Maximize earnings. So, Scotty, when you played, the median NBA salary in 93-94 season was $1.3 million.
Well,
That was a median salary, $1.3 million. Right? These guys, right now, it's $5.57 million. The average salary today in the NBA, at that time, the average salary was $1.75 million. The average salary today in the NBA is $11.124 million.
And mind you, that's average. So we're not talking about the $50 million. Because they were talking about stars, you know, Jimmy Butler, Zion, stars. We're talking $50 million a year.
That's almost 6x. That's not 7x.
How much
Well,
do you have to
I mean-
maximize that?
in all fairness, I'm always be on the player's side.
I understand that.
So
You ought to be.
I definitely think that, from a player standpoint, I've been in this situation, I've been in the game, that you got to maximize your value. You're not going to stay that valuable forever. So Jimmy Butler's value is up right now. In 2 to 3 years or whatever, it may not be up. So I respect him speaking.
This is
and
actually
saying,
nothing to do for me with Jimmy. Jimmy, go do what Jimmy wants to do. This is not a Jimmy conversation. To me, this is a Paul conversation because watch what you said. When I ask you, who do you think can shape up Zion?
Yeah,
You said Riley.
I said
Yeah.
Paul Riley's the way they do it. But I also said
Young.
he's going to make him or break him.
Yeah. That's what I call
Well,
it too.
listen, my opinion, you ain't going to find too many Rileys nowadays. You're just not. And for
No,
me
but there's not going to be that type of management in the game much longer
unfortunately.
because players are now
Empowered.
have a lot more balance. They have a lot more rights in the game in terms of not playing with injuries, not playing back to backs.
See, to me, you know what that says? Try that mindset in the NFL. It won't work. Good luck with that mindset in the NFL. And in the NFL, these guys are, you're talking about life-ending risk on the line the way you play. Neck, paralyzed, all this other stuff, okay? You don't hear stuff like that. The worst thing I've seen in the NBA last 30 years was Paul George. Remember that hole when he came down on the leg and it broke?
That was Olympics.
That was yeah.
Wasn't it Olympics? Yeah.
No, he was with the Pacers when that happened. I don't think it was the Olympics.
No, it was USA.
Can you pull up when he did that? I thought he was. I don't know which one it is. It's right there. It's the third line, second picture. Third line, third, right there. That's him right there. Yeah, when he broke the leg, it literally split in half, right?
Yeah, it was
I don't
USA
know.
basketball.
I think that's a part.
I don't know why certain things are slipping past them, but yeah, it was obviously USA basketball. right there. Like it was, yeah, it was USA ball, right there. Not that it's important to this whole thing, but whatever.
Part of why it's unattractive to watch this game. Don't get me wrong. A person's going to come up like George Karl.
That was the Olympics, though.
Yep.
Was it the? Maybe you're right. Yeah. Maybe it was the Olympics.
It was.
Based on what you're. Yeah, it was the Olympics. You're right. It was the Olympics. No, you're right about this one. You were wrong about LeBron winning only 2. He won 4, but you're right about this one here. So, to me, I think that's what's unattractive about the NBA. I think the players are so protected and it's like, oh, my God, don't offend the players.
So
God
you
forbid
think that's what's hurt the game?
No, yeah, because the priority is not fans first. You forget who, like, for example, anybody that becomes too wealthy in business, the moment I forget that we don't have this business with our guys that are working as hard as they're working, or the viewers that are watching, and you start thinking you're pompous and everything's around you,
Yep.
What are you talking about? You have nothing without the fans. If you don't have the fans, who pays you?
Exactly. The fans are your customers, 100%. If you start neglecting your customers, even belittling them, people vote with their wallets all the time. So that's us voting with our wallets.
Fans, the guy that created the game, and then fans showed up and the fans kept supporting, and that caused to get more eyeballs and sponsorship, and that was able to get guys from getting paid $80,000 a year, $20,000 a year, to making $80,000 sometimes a minute you play for some players, right? This game is a very, very different game today. But what's this one, Rob? This is Colin Cowherd saying what?
It kind of back to what you were talking about, being detached from the regular people, being detached from the fans and the effect it's had.
What do you think about Colin, by the way?
Oh, I fucking love him.
Really?
So, yeah.
Play this clip, Rob.
Goodell has navigated a multitude of cultural changes. That CTE issue, that was bad and overlooked for a long time by a previous commissioner or two. And here he's made the PAT interesting. He tinkers, he evolves. And the NBA, meanwhile, ratings are down 48% in the last 12 years.
Crazy.
And they have fallen off a cliff this year. And Adam Silver's solution is let's make the courts brighter. And I like the NBA, but the All-Star game is now embarrassing, and I think load management is a shame on the league. It is a really bad look for a family of 4 to go to a game and Giannis doesn't play or Embiid doesn't play. I'm sorry. Go ask the Democrats. Be warned, once you detach from regular people in America, you will pay a price.
What do you think about what I just said?
That's true fact. I mean, fans are students of the game as well. They're not just fans, They know the game. Mm-hmm. And so you seeing players over there that you worked hard all week to earn money and to bring your family out for a family evening, and now they got sitting over there in sweats. That's not even a team uniform, and it's like, really? Is this what I save my $800
Yeah,
for?
exactly.
To come see this guy stand on the sideline?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Guys, in the comments, when was the last time you actually paid for a basketball game? Like, you went out, you went to a game live, you paid for it, and did you feel like you got your money's worth? I'm curious. For me, it's been years, because I'm like a hardcore advocate of voting with my wallet. So I'm not doing it. And I'm not going to do it, even though we have 3 stars here in Phoenix. More often than not, whenever I watch a game at home, at least 1 out of 3, sometimes 2 out of 3 of those stars are not suiting up that day. So I don't know. I don't know where my money's going. If I put a couple $100 into this, I buy a ticket or I buy a couple tickets for like a buddy of mine. I don't know where that $400, $500 is going to go. There's no guarantee that any of these players are going to show up to work that day. So I'm curious what you guys think, and also when the last time you've been to a game is.
He's truly right. I mean, but that's the direction of where the game is. You cannot make players play. And to be honest, this will continue to go on.
Oh, I agree.
It'll go on until the money stops coming in. So it's up to the customers. We're all customers listening in right now. If we keep going to the games and paying for it, yeah, they can keep going forever. But if we cut that down, it sure can't, because the money flow is going to stop, and then the rules are going to change, the obligations are going to change, the contracts are going to change, and people got to show up to work to get paid, and then we'll come back.
Not going to stop.
I agree with you.
Players are now at the point where they are saying, I'm going to play 50 games.
Wow. And owners can't say shit.
And you're going to pay me for 82.
That is unfreaking believable, Scotty. That's why I would never own an NBA team. I got a call on the opportunity to be a minority owner of 2 NBA teams. And a guy called me for MLB, and a guy called me for the Raiders. When this guy called me, he's a well-known guy that sells teams. And I was interested in the Raiders, but to me, it would, it's between that or the Yankees. I'm going to go Yankees. So I won Yankees. I bought 2 rounds of ownership. Anybody that sells, I was interested. And when the NBA came about, I had zero interest because I don't believe in the product.
Yep.
I think they've destroyed the product where who would want, like, even a Mark Cuban is a astute businessman sold. By the way, don't get me wrong. The NBA is going to keep getting paid. Why? Because they're winning internationally. The eyeballs are increasing. They're going to keep making money. The product is not going away. Guys are going to start making $80, $100 million a year the next 5 to 10 years. They're going to get paid.
So is that 48% viewership being down not hurting them?
That's here. Because they can go internationally and still be able to sell marketers and say, hey, look how many eyeballs we're getting here.
That's a good point. So they're losing the American audience, but because it's more accessible globally, that's where the money's coming in. Oh shit, that works totally against us. That sucks. However, finance is finance, right? And when a guy like Michael Jordan and especially Mark Cuban sell their greatest asset, which is their teams, in the same year, which they just did, not too many months ago at this point, maybe 6 months ago, they both sold their teams. That says something to me. That means they don't believe in this asset anymore. I don't know. I wouldn't sell my greatest asset unless I thought we might have hit the blow off top point,
But to me,
it's heartbreaking.
I have a hard time with that. I have a hard time when you forget fans, customers. We go to dinner and we go to restaurants. If my kids don't say thank you, please, what makes you think because we have an okay lifestyle that we get to think, no, that person's serving us. We have to be respectful to this person. Yeah. We have to tip them properly. We have to take care of these folks.
And on the flip side, they're the customer, so the restaurant has to take care of the customer, or else the customer doesn't come back. If they don't come back, they don't spend any more money ever again. This is just how it goes.
It gives me the MBA of thinking you're above the fans.
Yep.
It's unattractive. And by the way, that's me. It's coming from a place of ask me stuff on stats from 1992, 2010, 2015. I'm going to be able to get you some stats and numbers because I follow this game so closely. But
yeah, well, it's truly a different game.
They're just unrelatable now. I think that's the best way to put it. I think that's what he was searching for there. Like, the NBA players are no longer relatable to the common, hardworking American. We have nothing in common anymore. Our work ethics, our lifestyles, nothing. We can't pull anything from them and get inspiration from it. While in the 80s, 90s, and even the early 2000s, we pulled inspiration from them. They made us want to be better. Now it's like, I wouldn't want to be like that. I'm not inspired at all by who these people are and the way they're living their lives and what they stand for. I'm just not. I believe in hard work.
The players are a lot more sensitive in a sense that they don't want any reaction with the fans. They don't want the fans having any type of camaraderie with them at all.
Then get off social media.
They always feel that fans are a threat, and they have sort of, to me, they have separated themselves. It's the players and it's the fans. And if you say something to me, it better be fucking nice, or I'm going to have you removed from the ring.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I think it's bad. I think it's bad that players cannot take criticism. I used to love going in the stands and having people call me out of my name.
Yeah, didn't you call out, what's his name, when you dunked on Ewing and you shoved him, and who was on the sideline?
Spike.
Spike, yeah.
Yeah, so
Good old Spike.
I embrace the fans being a part of, getting at me, trying to aggravate me.
They're paying for that experience, especially those with courtside seats. They're paying high dollar to be within shouting distance from the players. I don't know.
Now, I don't see that, I don't see how you
Whose fault is that? Is that Adam Silver that accepts it? Because that comes from the top. Like, kids can cry and say anything, but father and mother can say, no, toughen up.
I think LeBron was the first one to throw a fan out, right, guys? I think I've seen KD do it, and a couple other players do it now too. But I think LeBron was the first one to do it, where he pointed a fan out and demanded that he gets removed. That sucks. Unless they're going to give him a refund, that's not okay.
I can't say where that come from, but I can say that the game misses that. They miss that irritating fan.
Yeah.
They miss that heckler that was irritating you and caused you to miss your free throws.
Yeah.
Those are things that, were a part of the game when I played.
But by the way, just out of curiosity, who were some of the toughest guys? Like, remember that one time Vernon Maxwell and Ori Vernon ran up to the 16th row that one game? I don't know if you remember that or not. Do you remember that?
I don't remember Vernon, but Vernon was one of the toughest guys. He's a very close friend of mine, and he was a tough guy. But I mean, there was a lot of guys played in the league.
They did it again. Vernon Maxwell did not peak in 2000, much earlier than that.
And that,
I'm talking like street tough, like tough.
Yeah, I mean, but street tough can't go up in the stands. You know what I'm saying? We still have to be professional.
I fully agree.
But there are guys who've gotten out of order and out of hand. But, the commissioner has always been able to take care of that and keep things in order. But I think now the fans are so afraid that they can't even call a player out in any bad way that
Stop it.
is looked at as a threat.
I say it comes from LeBron down to the
Oh, there it is.
I know you can't say that. It's not something that you're going to be seen as an analyst, and some of the Barkley will say it. Some of these guys will say it, but I think it comes from the top down, and I don't think it's an exciting thing. By the way, I saw Vernon Maxwell the other day called out a former player, Vincent Askew. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
I saw that.
He said he called me for 10 grand. Don't give him the money. Never pays back or whatever. Who were some of the tough guys that the players knew they're tough, but nobody talked
By
about?
the way, I like how he just threw that in there. He was like, I personally blame LeBron James. And then he's just going to move right on.
that you played against? Oakley, was he one of them?
Yeah, I guess Oak could say he's one of the tough guys, but you know what?
Anthony Mason was
that
right there, too.
era guys kind of faded in the 90s, you know? The Oakleys, the Buck Williams, you know, Buddha, James Elwood, who I played
Yeah,
with.
Big Buddha.
James
You know,
Edwards, wow.
guys that would just give hard fouls. Those were guys that were considered tough guys. Guys that when you came in the lane, you're going to have to earn it.
Who did we think was tough but wasn't tough? Like, as a fan, we're like, you guys thought he was tough. He wasn't tough.
Are you a New York Knicks fan? No, I'm
not.
just kidding.
Who were you going to say?
No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, if you said Knicks, there's three names I think about.
No,
so were you calling someone out with the Knicks? Were you calling Mason? Were you calling Xavier?
They were all tough.
Okay.
They were all tough guys. But New York thought that they were the toughest team
Out of everybody.
on the block back in the 90s, especially in the early 90s. We had some great battles.
They were bullies for sure. But, yeah, man. Jordan and the Bulls, man, they just – nope.
About Michael punching Steve Kerr. Did you see Michael fighting a lot of people? Or was that the only instance?
I didn't see him fight anyone.
Okay. But the Steve Kerr, you're so funny. Is that like the...
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see the one with Steve?
I must have missed practice that day.
You're joking right now, right? Is that what is like the code of keeping...
No, my cat was sick.
All right, and to be fair,
man.
that's the right answer. This kind of stuff happened all the time in pro sports. The rule was this stuff stays in house, and when the thing happened with Draymond and Jordan Poole, that was one thing I noticed that Steve Kerr mentioned. These things happen. It's supposed to stay in house. The video got leaked, and that's why this is public. So, like, I think this is still something that happens, but it's the rule. It's the rule. We don't talk about this. We don't talk about this at all. So that was actually funny by Scotty right there.
I think I get it. No, but that's cool. And by the way, last one with Wemby. You think Wemby's going to go down as a? Is he going to end up being like? Okay.
Yeah.
He seems scary.
I hope so.
Yeah, I do think he's going to go down as one of the great ones. I mean, from a statistical standpoint, it's just like I said when I saw LeBron come in the game. These guys are going to dominate the game statistically because of how the rules have been being changed. Like, I mean, this guy can shoot a three-pointer whenever he get ready.
It's ridiculous.
That's the crazy
Yeah.
part about it. It's like you can't even contest his shot. You know, we think that Steph Curry got the freedom to dribble and shoot the ball, but now you're talking about a guy that's 7'6",
Yeah.
and you know, with unbelievable range. You know, just watching him other night, step across half court, pull up a three.
What was that all about?
You know, that's what we're going to be seeing in the next 10 years of the game is a lot more shooting from a lot bigger guys.
See, that's what they notice. I mean, the thing that's impressing me about Wemby is, I mean, I looked up the other day. I think they were playing the Lakers or they were playing. I can't remember who they were playing, but it was just a couple days ago. In the first half, he had 7 blocks. That's what excites me about Wemby. I'm not a big fan of seeing him shooting three-pointers. I got to be real, but I can't complain that much if he's doing that much work on a defensive end. Like 7 blocks and a half. That's in a time where people are shooting in the perimeter the majority of the time. Like how that's crazy to me. I wish Wemby the best of luck. I really do. I hope he ends up being great.
Which of these records is most likely to be broken? Quadruple double, right? I think Hakeem, David. I think Alvin Robertson was the weird guy on the list.
Harden's got a couple quadruple doubles if you include turnovers.
I wouldn't have expected him to be on the list. Alvin's the one that got into a first fight with Shaq. I believe.
I don't expect that record to be broken.
No one's going to do a quadruple double.
Nah.
So for sure, you don't think anyone
because I think Hakeem may have got it because of steals
and blocks.
Okay, yeah. I don't see Wemby getting the steals.
So okay, got it. So
Okay, fair.
Okay, so
If Wemby, okay, let's talk about Wemby. Wemby could do it: points, rebounds, blocks. He's not going to get 10 steals. Scotty's right. Assists? He could get 10 assists. Nah, I think Wemby could do it. He's actually probably the best case of somebody who can do it.
so that's fully out. So you don't think
I don't see him getting
Wemby
like,
doing it.
like Hakeem. If you look at the stats, he's probably the top 10 in steals throughout the
yeah.
league. So it wasn't an accident that he got a quadruple.
Yeah, Hakeem's a monster.
By the way, was he feared? Was he as tough as I read about? Like, was
Oh
Hakeem?
yeah, he was tough.
Would he
I
would he
mean,
say stuff to you like, "Hey, like,
No,
I'm gonna
no.
kill you," or was he like,
No,
was he that
no.
kind of a guy?
He was just tough, physical guy.
Nice lateral movement.
Had great hands. You know, he's like you couldn't put the ball around him. You know, he was so good with his feet, his hands. So having those soccer skills, he's always was
Oh, wow.
at the ball.
Oh, wow.
And had great hands in terms of how to knock it away.
Got it. I saw a clip the other day with David Robinson. I wonder how tough he was because I remember when one time into the season, him and Shaq were going for the scoring title. I think he
yeah.
scored 72 points against the Clippers, some number like that.
Yeah.
Shaq had 58 the last game of the season. He had 72. And I don't know who ended up winning the scoring title. I think it could have been him that won it. 100-point game. Will anybody break that?
Yes.
Yes. What kind of a player will break it? More like a Steph Curry or more like a
Wemby.
Shaq?
More like a
Oh, more
Wemby.
like really? Do you collect? Do you
Yeah,
collect
in
cards?
this style of basketball, I agree. It's going to happen someday. Not that I want it to, but I think it will if they don't change things.
No, I don't collect cards, but I think for that to happen today, because I think isn't the court bigger than what it was when Wilt scored 100?
Oh, I wouldn't know.
Because I don't think it was a 3-point shot.
No,
score
there
back.
were
No,
no
for sure they
three-pointers.
didn't have 3-point shots. That I know.
But I think that Wemby would be the guy if it could happen because of his size. He can shorten up the court. His size, his range.
He's the guy. Well, anybody beating the 6 championships undefeated, 6-0?
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no way.
Okay. All right. Well, Scotty,
Wow.
I've really enjoyed this conversation with you.
I've had a great time here. It's been an awesome time.
Yeah, and some of your answers, I have to tell you, like I was not expecting some of those answers.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But it was fun from a fan standpoint. I want to fall in love with the game again.
Yeah, me too.
But I fell in love with the game of when you played. That's the game. When I came here November 28, 1990, the reason why my team became the Lakers is because you guys beat them that year, 1990-91
Yeah.
season. That was the year where that famous
Oh, wow.
picture of Magic and, Michael, he's defending him, that one
Yeah.
picture of the Sam Perkins, that whole era.
It was all of the Magic and Michael.
Yeah, that's not the picture. There's a famous picture of them two guarding each other.
That's it there.
That's the one. You
Yeah.
got it. That's the one. It was just the era. And you guys broke my heart because I was in LA. I said, I'm going to be a Laker for life. And I rooted for the Lakers up until LeBron came to the Lakers. That's me.
Oh man,
Because
how
to-
many of you? There's so many. I know. I talk to you guys in the comments all the time. Lakers for life until LeBron got there, and now you can't stand to watch the Lakers until he leaves. Damn, I haven't heard anybody say it on a platform like this. Like this is a big platform. This has, he's got 2.43 million subscribers, and he just said that.
broke my heart because I was in LA. I said, I'm going to be a Laker for life. And I rooted for the Lakers up until LeBron came to the Lakers.
Crazy.
That's me. Because to me,
It's kind of funny you say that.
tell me why.
I would think that would make you more of a Laker fan, but you're not a guy that is sort of jumping on the bandwagon to win
No.
championship. You believe in the journey and
I
how you
love the
become
product.
a real Laker.
I was a Steinbrenner guy, and not
Yeah.
Steinbrenner, a Jerry Buss guy, and a Steinbrenner. I love owners that want to win so bad
Yeah.
that they're willing to do anything. And Jerry Buss won 10 in 33 years. maybe the greatest owner of all time, by the way, Jerry Buss, and the relationship he had with the players and what he did. But yeah, as a fan, watching you over the years and now having a conversation, this was a treat. I appreciate you for coming out, Rob. Gang, if you enjoyed it, I want you to do me a favor and support Scotty by going and buying his book and reading the story from him. Rob, put the link below for Scotty. And then if anything Scotty said, you were kind of like, what's going on here? Oh, by the way, one thing we haven't even asked that some of you guys probably wondering is, you said you made Satoshi and you're not supposed to talk about it on Twitter and Bitcoin and all this stuff.
Yeah.
What is that all about? Like this?
Well, I said I had a dream, but, after speaking to my good friend Michael Saylor, he said, we don't talk about Satoshi.
He said we don't talk about Satoshi.
So, learning from my mentor, I'm going to take what he said as some good advice. And
your mentor's worth around $10 billion today.
Yes.
He's doing okay for himself.
He's doing great.
Were you with him?
And now they're
New Year's Eve?
transitioning into what's going on here, which is the ball coin or whatever he's launching.
No, I didn't make it down for New Year's Eve, but I was planning to come down for the boat party, but it kept getting postponed.
Well, my man, Scotty, appreciate you for coming out. This was fantastic.
It's a pleasure
brother.
having me.
Likewise. Nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear.
Wow. What a lot of stuff to digest. I don't even know what I just watched. Part 4 did not go the direction I expected it to, but I think part 2 and part 3, there was so much in there that, eventually they needed to go back to just easy questions because, when a guy like the interviewer here of the podcast constantly looks at Scotty, he smiles, laughs, and says, "You're a funny guy. You're a really funny guy, Scotty." And a lot of you young guys might not understand, but for us who are older, that's old school talk for like, you're full of shit. Like you're a real funny guy, huh? You're a real funny guy. Like you're playing with me. You're joking with me. You're taking me for a clown. That's what he means. And he said that to Scotty looking dead in his eyes multiple times. And I think this video, I'm not sure anymore. I think this video started out with him saying that to Scotty. And after that, you could see he made the conscious decision to like, all right, let's back off on these subjects. We're not going to get an answer out of Scotty. Let's move on to other stuff, So he started the conversation easy, and then they ended the conversation easy. And all the stuff in the middle was hardcore. Guys, I really don't think I have final thoughts on this. Like, I'm going to have to watch this again, I think, on my own and really digest it. Because what did I learn off of this? Scottie Pippen said he was the best of all time. Now he's saying Jordan's the best of all time. But there is no best of all time. And he definitely made one thing clear, though. It ain't LeBron, because he was saying the style that LeBron played was so different than Jordan, and the player who did it better than LeBron in that style was Magic, which I agree with. Magic won 5, LeBron got 4, and Magic uplifted his teammates. 100% easy choice for me. I got Magic over LeBron in anything. But yeah, we learned that Scotty and Jordan were never close friends, apparently. That I'm not too surprised. But we also found out that their relationship did end after the Last Dance. They had one final conversation, and Scotty's not interested in furthering a relationship with MJ. But then guys, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. There's too many contradictions. Because he doesn't want to continue a relationship with Jordan. But then Jordan, he's saying, Jordan's done with him, essentially. in his own cryptic words. So he could stick around when he's not wanted, or he can just walk away. So I don't really know. In just one podcast, I heard Scotty just like on this side of the fence and on the opposite side of the fence so many times. And we're not talking politics here. We're talking about his own life stories. But he's on one side and in the other over and over again. Who knows what the truth is with Scottie Pippen? I certainly don't. I've got my assumptions. You've heard a lot of them here in the moment. But I really don't know the damn truth about him. All I can say is I don't see a lot of NBA players or ex-NBA players who seem to be in contact with Scotty. I don't. That's all I have to say about that. So I don't know on what kind of terms he is with all of his old comrades. I don't. Guys, I'm going to end it right there. Please leave your comments down below. My brain is mush after this. So leave some comments down below. What did you think? What are your opinions on this? What's your big picture opinion on all this? Especially those who watched all 4 parts. If you haven't, the other 3 are waiting for you in the previous 3 days. Please leave this video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Thank you all for watching. I can't wait to get into the comments again and talk to you guys. Because, man, I don't know what I was expecting here, but this wasn't it. You know, like, it just wasn't it. I thought he was going to either double down on, like, the Jordan hate or go the complete opposite way and appear, like, apologetic, like, remorseful. But I didn't expect whatever this was, which was like neither. Like none of it happened. All right, everyone. I'm out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out. I'll see you later for the next one. All right. Bye, everybody.